Makeup and death and dying education returns. So this person's referring to at the end of life when people aren't wanting to eat and just allowing them to do that. They say, well, I get that, but what if they already have a G tube, which is like a feeding tube placed in your stomach? And what if they're nonverbal and can't tell you if they're hungry or thirsty or what they need? What do we do then? Great question, and I'm here for it. There's a few things we can do. Now, P.S., I put a lot more makeup on when I'm doing TikTok stuff, so bear with me. We can still allow the patient to be our guide at this time, meaning you can continue to try to give them tube feeds, and if their body tolerates it, that's great. What do I mean by tolerate it? I mean they don't have throwing up episodes, they don't have a bunch of regurg, meaning tube feeds kind of coming back out of their feeding. They don't have episodes of bloating and vomiting. They don't have periods where the G tube or feeding tube is causing this person infection after infection, which can happen a lot with feeding tubes. Once we start seeing that, where like the person is no longer tolerating the tube feeds, meaning severe bloating, maybe some vomiting, infection, or a lot of residuals coming back out of the feeding tube after you fed the person. If we're seeing a lot of that, that's going to tell me this person's body is no longer tolerating the tube feeds, and we don't have to abruptly stop, but that's when we'll start backing off, meaning not giving as much or as often. And then we reevaluate how they're doing after we do that. And 9 out of 10 times, they usually start feeling better, meaning no periods of nausea and vomiting, seem to be not bloating as much. They seem and appear to be more comfortable. Because just because someone's nonverbal doesn't mean they can't tell us stuff with their body language. If someone is uncomfortable, you will know it because they'll show it to you on their face. If they're irritable, if they're squinting, if they're holding their body tight, if they're moaning, those are indications they're not okay. Now, if you know this person, let's say this person is tolerating tube feeds, but you know this person would not like the fact that they're living this way. Like for instance, I know my mother and my father would never want to live like that. At that point, we would slowly start a program to wean this person off tube feeds. Because at the end of the day, we need to do what's right for the patient, not what's right for the family. We need to respect their wishes.